Hi, Dr. Lena Rodriguez coming to you live and direct from the suitcase. I'm getting used to it now. So for those of you who don't know the story, I'm in another state supporting family and I'm here for some time, don't know how long, but I'm getting very used to it. You get very zen, you know, your whole life, you can pick it up and move it. I'm getting very, very used to it. Now I think, what other things do I have at home, really? So one of the downsides, though, when I went to make this video today, I found I couldn't find my makeup. So if I look like a washed out hag, that would be why. Managed to find a bit of lippy. But here we are, and the big question today will be on the Senate. But before I get any further into it, my heartfelt commiserations on the fires. You guys are doing it so tough. And as you know, we had it earlier this year, the worst fires ever. And we have fires all the time, like you guys do. You know, a fire normally is like, oh yeah, there's a bushfire from here to there, you know, another thing going on. These are so terrible and scary and traumatizing, these fires, and homes have been lost, and my heart just goes out to you. I think Australia's sending some firefighters, because you guys, including Canada and New Zealand as well, sent firefighters to help us at the beginning of the year. Because when these fires go on for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, it's so exhausting for the crews. So my huge, huge, huge love and sympathy for you. So please be nice to each other and help wherever you can. People are amazing when they're up against it. But I just wanted to acknowledge that. It's huge, I know. It's really huge. So moving on to more, you know, the latest in Yeti land. Like most of you, I can't actually watch the Yeti. I can't hear his voice. I can't look at his face. So I have to catch up with the news in printed form. I suggest it's a good way to do it. When you've got all those talking heads, even when they mean well on CNN or MSNBC or something, it's easier just to read the news. So I've gone back to the 70s and I read the news. But after his ridiculous fake rally in Michigan, I call them fake rallies because we know they bust people in, and there's a few other, you know, the stall holders that are selling the Kool-Aid. They're the genuine deal. They love this man, and there's enough of them, that's for sure. But the crowds are always really stilted and weird, and that's because, you know, you see the same people turning up the rallies. But apparently, he's announced he'd opened 5 auto processing plants or something because he was talking to Michigan, but he hadn't, and they're not going to be open, and no one's talking about them, and they're not in the works. They're just a thought bubble. So let's have a look here. None of it matters. All this pain, all this horror, all the dismantling of the systems of democracy and justice can all be saved if the Dems win the Senate. That's actually the biggest prize of all, if you ask me. Obviously, it'd be good to have the Yeti out and kicked to the curb, but it's not just that. The Senate is where the real power lies, as we saw with those horrendous, gutless, self-serving, cowardly, snivelling, craven snot bags known as the GOP, who failed to impeach him. So let's have a look at the Senate. The Senate really matters. The Senate. Are the Dems going to take the Senate? We have to. Are the Dems going to take the Senate? All right. Okay. Queen of Pentacles. All On the next was, oh, good. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, I'm very pleased. I am very pleased. Okay. Queen of Pentacles, often my Nancy Pelosi card. She of the purse strings. She's a real, not power behind the throne. She has her own throne. Please don't misunderstand me, viewers. It's not that I think Nancy Pelosi is a perfect human being. And she represents, to my old lefty brain, I'm quite upfront about that corporate dem thing as Hillary. But this is not just about money. Pentacles are never just about money. They're also about the things that money can buy, obviously, and can be power and influence and all those things. And that's certainly the case here. But it's about security. The Queen of Pentacles wants people to feel secure. So I think this is Nancy. And there's still a weird algorithm that could play out where Nancy could end up having to fill in the breach if it takes forever to count the votes or something. It's very complicated, but you never know. But I put my money on this being Nancy. And so she would be crunching the numbers in the back room with the best of them, looking at how the Senate races are going to play out. It could equally be a very powerful woman who emerges into the Senate, but for now I'm happy with that being Nancy. The country moving to a safer place after the horror, the madness, the craziness, the dereliction of duty, what could be crimes against humanity. I mean, all of it. After all that, moving to a safer place. Bang underneath the Queen, the Death card. Okay, I'm very happy about that. Death, we don't want any of them to die, even the Yeti. I'm a believer in euthanasia with pets. It's not a pet. So it's not about death per se, it's the end of a whole horrendous cycle, which is why people are moving away, because it is this weird, ferocious, negative energy. Now, it's not going to be easy and smooth. Why? Big money, big power. Now, this is the Ten of Pentacles, intergenerational money. To me, this smacks of two major issues. One is, it's my Trump org card, literally. You know, the money coming down. Let me remind you, if you're a new viewer, Fred Trump, Donald's father, his own father, ran brothels on the Yukon. That's how he made the money originally. Imagine how he treated those women, right? That was the original, who was still a Drumpf. I think that's before they changed their name to Trumpet. Okay, so it was him, followed by Fred, who was KKK New York, and everything else that Fred did, include, you know, really destroy the emotional lives of his own children, including the Yeti. Yuck poo. So what happened? Damaged people are dangerous people. Fred Trump was dangerous, and we sure as hell know the Yeti's dangerous. So this is Trump org at its worst, but it's also the GOP money and the whole GOP lie about the economy. But trust me, no amount of money will be spared in trying to fight this off and stave off the death of the Senate, which comes back to all their vote rigging, gerrymandering, lost ballots, uncounted ballots. Expect everything. Expect everything. However, back to the Senate. Ta-da! New change coming through. Whoosh. This is significant progress, fast progress after adversity. This is leaving after adversity. I'm loving this. And the final card, oh, I love tarot. It always delivers. This has always been Lena's Wake Up America card. The angel with the trumpet, waking people up out of this sort of, it's sort of layers of coma. So if you starve a public education system, like has happened in the US, and it's happened in Australia, let me tell you, and it happened in the UK, wherever you look, you end up with problems with the democracy, because democracies can only work if people have a good basic education. They may not have frills, not everyone has to go to university. You know, nothing wrong with having other skills. But if you don't have a good basic education system, people can't really vet between the lines. And that's how the GOP has got where it is and stayed there so long. So this is Wake Up America card. It's a changing of the guard. It's the new generation coming through. Please, God, they come through. The young ones have to come through. They'll be active, I think, between now and 2024. You'll have those who'll vote now who are fired up, and they're the new newbies. But between 20 and 24, young people, I think, will start to realise they have much more power than they thought they had. They're so used to being ground down with an inadequate school system, and then jobs that you could lose at lunchtime, no 0-hour contracts, crappy conditions. And now they're not going to take it anymore. This is rising up. This is also the boomers talking to their grandchildren, going, it has to change. And the only thing that's going to change it is you, the people. All right? People have to change. Democracy, use it or lose it. I think people realise this is ultra, ultra important, and there's got to be so many that even allowing for the chaos and the vote rigging and everything else, America will wake up. And that means a change of the Senate. All right. Now, the polls are narrowing again. What is it with this guy? What is it about 200,000 lives lost that people don't get? I blame it on celebrity worship. 15 years of The Apprentice, and people believed he was the guy on The Apprentice, the successful businessman on The Apprentice. In real life, he just kept going bankrupt. But on The Apprentice, he did really well. Awesome. It's worth seeing a Scaramucci interview on that, Trump on The Apprentice, and you can again read the transcript. Okay, I'm going to have a look at Biden, how Biden's holding up, and Michael Bloomberg, who promised he'd spend a lot of money even if he didn't get the candidacy for being president, which was always a stupid idea anyway. Why don't these people stay in their lane? But he's stumped up $100 million just for Florida. But Florida's so hard to pick. It's such a weird state. Such a weird state. And I don't think either of them are doing very well with the Hispanic vote. I think it's quite split. I shouldn't even call it the Hispanic vote. I'm sorry about that. We use these phrases. It's not a single monolithic vote. That's part of the problem. You've got radical lefties, you've got right-wing Cubans who lost everything in the revolution, you've got other people who gained a lot through these same upheavals. You've got gender issues, and you've got the church. And my advice to Biden, Dale, listen, he's a Catholic. He should be out there, clean his teeth, go out there and say his novenas. Go for the Catholic vote. Just call it. He might win over enough. So we've got, you know, OAC on the one hand, all the way to the sort of, you know, more dreadful right-wing turkeys. So let's have a look at the race in Florida. The race in Florida. Can Biden pull it off? Can Biden pull off Florida? Oh, Ace of Cups, Queen of Cups, lots of emotion. Juggling, battle. All these things are so hard to read because they're all in the air. Like, you've got millions of personalities and consciences and people who are passionate and people who couldn't care. Don't forget, so many people in America have failed to vote for the last 40 years. This is really important, but I'll tell you why I'm going. Okay, can Biden do it? It's very emotional, but that bodes well for him. Queen of Cups, Jill Biden might actually play a role, funnily enough. People don't know her that well, I guess. She's got maybe the second wife complex. Hard to fill a dead woman's shoes, isn't it? Right? He should pull out Jill. In fact, I'm just hearing take Jill. I think he needs to take Jill on the campaign. It's up in the air. It's juggling and manipulation. It's not a shoo-in for either side. They're both embattled. There's an impetuousness. You can be sure the Republicans would be panicked by this news that Bloomberg, who has real money, unlike the Yeti with his little monopoly Yeti money, he's got real money and they must be panicking. Oh, that's what I'll read on next before I go. What's happened to the money? He's stolen it already. But this is the impetuous night coming in. Undecided. If the vote was held tonight, it would be undecided. Oh my God, I hope they win. It's Florida and Texas are very similar to me. They both could go either way. Of course, lots of states could go either way, but they're two big ones that matter. Next time, I will read on Texas because I want to keep a close eye on those. Too close to call for me, but they're certainly both in it. So it's not as though Biden's out of it. It's not as though Biden's winning by heaps. It's not as though Trump's winning by heaps. It's neck and neck. They're both embattled, and it remains to be seen. So it's who gets out there. To a certain extent, it's the campaigners on the ground. Can they get to the population to make sure people can legally vote in significant numbers? Are people going to turn up? Do they want to do mail voting and don't know how to do it? This needs, in the next 5 minutes, in the next few weeks, I'd really like to see that campaign stepped up, how to vote in Florida. So I think that's a razor blade, absolute razor blade. Now let's have a quick look at the money. 800 million they had, and they've lost 170 million of it. Oops. Ivanka might have spent it having her toenails done a lot, or buying a couple of handbags. They could have, you know, fed all the children at the border for 3 months. What have they done with the 170 mil? The missing money. The missing money, public monies. I hope people learned their lesson after we built the wall, only to find Steve Bannon and a couple of comrades went off with him and, you know, bought another yacht or two. So what happened to the missing GOP money? What happened to the GOP money? Oh, what happened to the GOP money? Oh, sorry, you just fell off the suitcase. Oh, I'm doing my best, Felix. Ace of Wands, the moon, we won't know. The uphill task in the second one. Oh, look, these people, what can you say? What can you say? Here we have it. One day I'm going to be back at a real table. Sorry, let me just adjust this so I don't lose you altogether. Okay. Fred Flintstone. This was someone in the GOP, let's say the Yeti, but it probably went down through whoever's still working for him and demanding money. This is a very aggressive demand for money, basically a standover tactic. Give us the money. That's pretty crude. It's pretty blunt and pretty crude. We won't really know because there's so much fudging and mist, not because they're smart and clever, but because they can just throw out enough shade that we can't see it in the dark. It's like that. But this is the card of hard work, not relevant here. It's therefore also the card of the martyr. So somehow the Yeti or his demon criminal offspring, that's his adult children for those who aren't used to my vocabulary. So those inmates in waiting who are his adult children are going to invent themselves as martyrs in this when they're caught, because they will be caught and they'll be asked to come clean about the money. And I've been waiting for this for 3 years, nearly 4 years. When are they going to start turning on each other? Because eventually some organisation that's still standing is going to go, okay, we've got Eric, or we've got Ivanka over a barrel, or we've got Junior. How much are they going to be loyal to each other then? I would suggest not very. What's the last card? I'm glad you asked. Tower. Funnily enough, the missing millions, this, don't forget, this is tacked onto the inauguration money that went missing, which is all about Ivanka. She was in charge. I think it's these cases, not before the election, nothing's going to change. You know, the diehards' minds before the election. No other scandal would, I think, move many people from this point. This is after. This is after the election. It's these sort of things that are going to actually translate into criminal cases for Eric, Ivanka and Don Jr. I don't think it's going to be the things like she's been using private emails just like Hillary. He uses a private phone, which he's done from day one, and just stamped his little Yeti hooves and refused to give up his phone, etc. It's not the big things about what he did with Ukraine. It's not betraying the nation on endless occasions. It's this mucky hand in the cookie jar stuff that's going to bring them undone. I so hope that's the case. Now, beloved and intrepid viewers, have to go, but I'll be back. And so, please, please, please. Okay, you need to, now it's countdown. It's countdown now. So every single day, you need to take time out away from the chaos and the noise and just actually earth yourself, however that is for you. That could be lying on your back, breathing deeply into the abdomen, could be walking barefoot on sand or grass. It can be just sitting under a tree. It can be symbolically in your lounge room sitting under a tree. You need earthing because this stuff, all this stuff over this many years, this is long-term abuse that you guys have been under. it all pulls you away from your core of what you know is right and sound and true and precious. And so by earthing yourself, it helps you cope with the next round of craziness, but hopefully you can also help someone else, one other person. If we all help one other person, we can make all those little dots of light join up. You are light workers, or you wouldn't have been here all this time. You are all light workers. Okay. Love you. Love you. Besitos.